Excel Lab 5 is probably the funnest part of Excel. After you get past the formulas, then we're ready to play a little bit. And I'm going to tell you how to do a chart. But there's a lot of ways you can earn extra credit in this lab, because I want you to be creative and have fun. And if you do more than what the instructions say, I'll be sure to give you extra credit. Okay, so I've loaded the instructions, and I've loaded the spreadsheet. And I want to go over the instructions a little bit, then I'm going to close them and work straight on the spreadsheet so you can see more. So we're going to create a chart on comparing the orders. So if you look at page 2 here, it does not show the chart. So just do it the way we're doing it here. Your chart has to be labeled. You need a chart title, and depending upon the kind of chart, how much labeling there is. A pie chart has a lot less labeling than most of the other charts. But you need a vertical and horizontal axis title. You need a chart title. You need percentages. And then there is extra credit here if you create a second chart, and it has to be a different chart than the first chart. And I'll tell you about that. It has to be properly labeled, and make sure that you customize the charts, and I'll show you this. It's really fun. So let's close these instructions and get on with this. The very first thing you need to know about creating charts is before you ever start to create a chart, you need to select the range of the data titles and the data that you are going to use. So if I'm going to show you, if all I select is the names, and I go way over here because I want to chart who ordered what kind of nuts, and I go to insert, look at my range now. I'm not including any titles. So if I go to insert and I go over here towards the middle, and there's all kinds of charts. There's a recommended chart here. There's all charts. I recommend that you go to all charts and take a look at some of these kind of charts. There's a column chart, which is just that. It's columns in comparison. And you can make your column chart look differently. If you have a stacked column chart, 3D cluster column chart, you see here how different that looks than the standard column chart. Or you can do a stacked column chart, and that is stacked here, and you can see who purchased what. Then there's other kinds of charts. There are line charts, and in the instance of this type of chart, this really doesn't do you much good. You really can't see what you need to see. The pie chart, I would never recommend a pie chart when you have this much data, because it gets confused. And look, it just says that it's 50-50. You know, half gray and half blue, but it doesn't give you any information on what those are. It's just too confused. Then you have the bar chart, which is just like a column chart, only it's in horizontal bars. So there's different kinds of bar charts. So you see those are the 3D ones. And then the rest of these are really, we're not going to use them for this class. These are a lot of these are more having to do with statistics. There is a combo chart that if you figure out how to use a combo chart, I'll give you quite a bit of extra credit. So I'm going to let you play with that one, because it's a combination of two different charts. You could have a bar chart and a column chart. It's going to be confusing, so you need to really make sure what kind of information you're using. But I'm going to do a column chart on this, and I'm going to choose this 3D cluster column chart. Okay, and I'm going to go down here and click OK. Bingo! Excel has created my chart for me. If I increase the size of this, look at what I have. I have names, I have Ooh, Series 1, Series 2. You see why I said watch this? Because I did not select these titles over here. And by not selecting these titles, they are not going over to the chart. So if I click anywhere on the outside of that chart and I press my delete key, it gets rid of the column chart. Now watch the difference. If I go up here and I select these titles, and I want you to also carefully watch, I don't select the count. Never select totals or blank lines because it will throw your chart all off. So I'm going to go back up here to insert. I'm going to go to the chart, and you can select right here if you know which kind of chart you want. So if I want, here is the column chart, and I want a 3D cluster column chart. Now look at here. Now I have these descriptions. Okay, so what I have is I have the blue is the apple pie almonds, the light blue. Then I've got cinnamon, so I can go through here and look who ordered what, just by a picture. But what I need here is there's several things that I need. And you can go one of two ways to do this. You can go up to your format and your design tabs up here at the top. So if I go to design, or you can go right over here to the right of your chart, and if I click on the plus sign, I want to add axis titles. So when I click on that, you see here I get a vertical axis title. So what I want to do is I want to put the correct information in there. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to put number of bags ordered. Okay, and I have it in caps, I see. I shouldn't have. So you type it correctly. So that's the number of bags ordered. And here's another axis title, the horizontal axis title. And you should put here name and phone number of customer. Okay, so that's how you change your vertical axis titles. You can change the font, you can change anything here. So if you go here and you want to change the font, you can go to the Home tab, and let's make it red so it stands out. But that doesn't stand out. Let's make it bold. Or I could make it larger. The font larger so you can read it. Okay, there's many other things that you can do here. So if I want to add the chart title, I'm going to click up here. Customer name and bags ordered. Okay, so that's my chart title. The minimum that I want on your charts, I want the axis titles, and I want the title for the chart. So that's what those are. Now, in the instructions it says that they want percentages. If you go here again to your plus, you can go to data labels. And you see how those labels are? That is telling the total number ordered. Or I can do it in a data call out. You see there, that's very distracting. And there's more options how you can do your data labels. So you can play with that for your data labels. I don't care for that. So I'm going to go back to just the standard data labels. Now, the grid lines, if you turn off the grid lines, you see there, that was those lines. Turn them on and off so you can see where it is. Now, where is the legend? The legend you can move around. You see how it's down at the bottom? The legend is your key that tells you what each of these are. And these are called data labels. Okay? So, I mean, these are called these are the data points. You can select one of them or a range of them. So if I select this green one, you see how there's the blue markers? There's the blue dots around all of the green ones. So if I wanted to change the color on this, I could go up here to the format and I can go to shape fill and I can make them another color. Oh, my infamous purple. Look at there, I changed the color on all of them. Say I didn't like this gray is boring. So I can change the color on that. And let's change it. Oh, that bright yellow is too close to some of the other colors. How about a brown? That's not much better, but it's a little bit better. Change the colors of some of your data points. So you can select a range, or if you only want to select one. Okay, see how they're all selected? All of the blue ones are selected. If you double click, it only selects the one, and you can edit that data point. So, you know, you have to be careful whether you select all or one, because what's going to happen is, look down here. When I change that to brown or that to purple, it also changed the legend. So you need to be careful. There's other things that you can add here. I started to tell you, your legend, you can move it around your chart. You can move it to the right and see all of your legend comes over here, or to the top, bottom. There's other things that you can do with them. So you choose where you want your legend. If I single click here in the body of the chart, you see these blue dots? That tells you what has been selected. So if I want to do a shape fill on this, and then say I want it to be a light orange so that these colors will show up, or there's a light orange, so I'm filling this. If I select my title, I can fill that shape, say with a darker orange, and I can do all of my labels to where they stand out. You'd almost want your labels to be the same color, so I'm just going to do those all the same color. So you're getting an idea that you can click on this, the body of it here again, and see I've got my blue dots, so I know exactly where I'm working. Here's a shape outline, and I can, like before, you can outline it. See how light that is, because it's not very wide. Maybe I want to change it. Oh, I want to change it. Oh, this is what this is doing, is this is outlining all of my the background here. If I want to outline the whole background, first I want to check a color. See how that shows up so much better? And once I change the color, I'm going to have to go in and I can change the weight, and I can change it. Say I want it real bold. I can also change the effects. I can bevel it like one of those pictures showed. And you have to be careful, because some of these you just get too many things, and if you try for a 3D rotation, it's not going to work, because it's going to end up going flat. You can pull anything that you want to here. If you want to do the grid lines, and I can format the grid lines, and I can make sure that the grid lines, so these are the grid lines here. I can make more grid lines. See there how more showed up there? I can do vertical grid lines, or I can do a lot of grid lines here. Okay, And now that I'm in the grid lines, I could even change the colors of the grid lines if I wanted to. So you can have fun with this. What you can also do is under the design, if you go clear over here to the left and add a chart element, it's the same thing as this plus sign over here. So you can go to the quick layout. If you decide that you want to change the layout, right over here on the design tab towards the right hand side, change the chart type. So if I decide I want to change the chart type and I want a bar chart, all I have to do is select which one I want, click OK. So I can change the bar chart right there. Some of the format options, you can change your text. You can change your text to types to where you've got a glow on them or whatever it is you want to do. So one last thing that you can do with a chart. If you want this chart, you see how distracting it is? You've got all this data in the background. If you want your chart on a different tab, you see we're on a sheet tab here. If I want to send that to a different tab, right over here on the design tab, and move chart location. The new sheet, I want to move it to Chart 1 tab. Click OK. Now it's on a tab all by itself. And if you look here, you have the chart and you have the sheet separately. So try to change yours around like that. And now what I want to show you, several other things. If I want to chart the names and phone numbers, and you notice I'm picking up the label names and phone numbers, and I want to chart the total price with tax. Now these two columns are not together. So what you need to do is select one column, hold your control key down, select the other column. So this is two columns here. And now if I want to insert, this is the kind of thing that is ideal for a pie chart. So if I go to all charts and I go to a pie chart, now see here, this shows much more interesting. I can do it in a 3D pie chart, and I'm going to do that one because I want to show you some other things. I'm going to enlarge this to where you can see it. Okay. Now you notice that there are not vertical and horizontal axis titles, because if you click on this, there are no axis titles. But what there is data labels. You see how the dollar value is showing up there? You can also you can move those around. You can put it on the outside. You can let Excel choose. You can do the data call out, which again, I don't care for the data call out. So you can do it towards the center. But I'm going to leave it the best fit and let Excel decide. Make sure that you've got a title here, and if you have selected your range correctly and included the titles, it's going to show up. There is one thing that you can do with a pie chart. You can change the styles here. You see there? That's some of the things that you can do. There are other styles. If you scroll down, there's other backgrounds and things that you can do there. But one of the things that I want to do is you can change the color just like we did before. You see where these blue dots are? This is the whole pie chart. So if I double click on a label on one section of the pie, you see here the blue dots are only around this section. So what I can do is I can go over here to Format, I can go to Shape Fill, and say I want this to be a very light green. Now it also changes down here in the legend. It changes the legend for me. Say I want to accent one of these. I really want, this is great. I'm going to grab a hold of that slice of the pie, and you see the rest of it isn't selected. And I can drag that out. And that is called exploding the pie chart. I'm going to undo that. If I select the whole pie, the whole thing where all of this is selected, and I drag it out, it's still selected only the one that I was on. Okay, so that's how you can accent one. I can drag that out there. So that's one of the fun things there. You can choose, you can do your shape effects, and there's 3D rotation on these. But depending upon how complicated your chart is, it's hard to do a pie chart on some of these and have all of these different options. I'm going to fill this legend maybe with a blue so it's not so plain. So how is that for charts? You can also change. I've got the whole thing here, and if I design this, there is a way, and if you look it up, there's a way that you can change these to percentages. So if you find that out, do that and have fun with it. So once again, you can change this one over here under the Design tab, right up here. You can change this chart and take it to Chart 2. So now we have all these on separate charts, separate pages. If I really didn't like these on separate pages and I want to move them back, select your chart, go back to Move to Chart Location, click it into it as Object. You're going to move it to an object. It's only going to an object in Chart 1 here. So now what I need to do, I've got Chart 1 selected. I'm going to move this chart back to Sheet 1. So it moved, it only moves the one. But you can move both of them. See there's Chart 1 again. So I'm going to have to move this one back. Okay, so I'm going to move it back to Sheet 1. So this, for some reason it's not working. You need to do it one at a time, and you can find out where it is. So if I go back to Sheet 1, when you submit yours, you can do it either way, with a different chart, with the different sheets, or you see you can move your chart around, and you can put both of them down here at the bottom. You can put them on the side, wherever you want to have them, just so I can see that there is one chart for regular credit, 2 charts is going to be extra credit, okay, based on how much you did on the chart. Okay, that's Slab